Hello everybody and welcome to my little channel. Pleasure to be sitting here with you with a cup of coffee this morning. It's been a while since my last video. I got busy. But here's an interesting one. This is part 3 in a series of drawings I'm doing of the same outpost, sci-fi as usual. This will be the center, and I've got 2 more modules that go on either side that I've already drawn, and I'll be doing an isometric external view probably just after recording this, so stay tuned. It'll be on my Instagram. I might record it. We'll see about that. Anyway, I thought I'd start with a bit of real-time drawing just to remind everybody that you can't draw that sort of thing in 20 minutes. This is the real speed at which I work. It's going to take me several minutes just to erase and design a chair here. I wasn't too happy about the first one I did. I made a choice that's not the most practical, but I think it looks better. Plus, it's good practice because it involves doing some curves. So you see, this is the real time. This is how long it takes me to do a little box here, just choosing the proportion and location of the item I want to place here. Now be reassured, we're going to go through a lot of time-lapse in here. I'm not going to put you through 2.5 hours of this, but this is just about how long it took me to do this little drawing here, about 2.5 hours, just under. Anyway, on the good news, I've got some new gear. I've changed my webcam. I was filming with a Logitech StreamCam before, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I bought myself a new little toy, which should be better and allows me to record the noise of the pen on the paper. So for those of you into ASMR sort of stuff, the time lapses should be funny. In the meantime, I'm still struggling to set it up, so there'll be some blurry moments in the video. Very sorry. Hopefully it's time-lapse so it won't be too shocking, but I think I got it squared now. But this was the first video I really recorded with a new cam, so bear with me. Anyway, now that you have an idea of how not quickly I'm drawing, let's go into a bit of time-lapse and talk about this drawing. Okay, here we are in time-lapse mode, where things will be just a little quicker. Well, I got about 20 minutes to talk to you about this drawing and a couple of other topics. Let's start with this drawing. So yeah, it's going to be an outpost, some kind of base somewhere. I'm not looking to make it too practical, but I decided it should have a few elements, such as an office full of computers, a storage room, a bedroom and a kitchen and a bathroom. And I decided to throw in a bit of luxury here, thinking maybe this is the boss's quarters, with a bit of a leisure room as well as an entrance. So yeah, I didn't give it a crazy amount of thought. I drew a box to start with, and then decided it'd be interesting to have some room in the ceiling like I just did here for cables, computers, tubes, whatever machinery. And then I just started drawing. Again, this is very much improvised. I know what I want to do. I don't know how I want to do it. So there'll be quite a bit of change as we go. But the idea is there, and that's what matters. Once I've decided what I want to draw, it's a matter of getting the pen on the paper. Which leads me to some talks I've been having on Reddit. At least I've seen a lot of them, and I participated to a few about motivation. And how do you start drawing? How do you get into it? Personally, I made a commitment to draw. I don't want to say every day, but as near as I can without burning myself out or just being silly. But point is, I don't like to spend more than a few days without drawing. And most of the time, as you know if you followed this channel for a little while, I don't necessarily have a very good idea of what I'm going to draw. The point is, I will draw. So it's, I guess, the hurdle, the barrier is to sit down and do those first few lines when you feel unmotivated. But for me, in my experience, it's not motivation that gets me drawing. it's drawing that gets me the motivation. It works that way. When I start and decided that no matter what, I'm going to finish this drawing, be it good or bad, the motivation comes from having done it. Once I've done the drawing, I feel it'll just be easier to make the next one. Here we go with the blur I was talking about. Very sorry about that. You're going to see my hand wave left and right trying to get the autofocus to work. I've since discovered I can lock the focus, so yeah, it'll be better on the next one. But yeah, motivation, to go back to it. Don't think too much about it. It sounds hard sometimes to just sit down and start drawing, be it ellipses, squares, cubes, whatever. But do it. Force yourself through those first few minutes, and it will get easier. The first time you might struggle through your drawing, the second time maybe, but it does get easier, and then that sitting down and starting to draw becomes a habit, and every finished drawing fuels the energy and motivation for the next one. So sit down, draw something. It doesn't have to be beautiful, it doesn't have to be well executed, it doesn't have to be anything, but what really matters is that you sit down and start drawing. That's my biggest advice. Okay, here we go with a bit of line work here. I'm not going to change much in the shapes I've done. These are just the basic blocks. We'll be adding the details later. I was quite shaky that day, I won't lie, so my lines are quite wobbly. Plus, I'm trying not to turn the sketchbook too much and go out of frame and make you seasick. So yeah, some lines could be criticized here, but that's how it went, and it's okay. Some lines can be fixed, and other ones just won't stand out as too horrible. Again, don't look for perfection. Dali said it better than anybody else, saying don't worry about perfection, you will never reach it. So do your best, try and do good, and you'll be surprised that most of the time it works. Alright, so yeah, the door here, I thought I would put some windows. I've changed my mind later. I've added a little suit here. I think that was a nice little detail, something vaguely human shaped with a big butt apparently. Yeah, little details, So yeah, on this one I'm changing a bit my MO. It's interesting to do, instead of a single sketch or a single drawing of a location or a vehicle, to do different views of the same. So here, as I said, I'll have 3 interior views, all in 1 point perspective for once, and then I'll do an exterior view, which should be pretty simple because in essence it's just a few cubes stacked together with rounded corners and a couple of colors. But I want to do it in isometric, meaning there won't be vanishing points. Every side will have parallel lines. I think it'll look good. We'll see about that. I might struggle a bit because one of my markers, the dark orange, is very near dead. So I'll have to figure out my light so that I don't have to use it too much. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I do that today, and it should be on my Instagram later on. And otherwise very shortly, so keep an eye out, and you'll see the full project together with all the views, and yeah, hopefully it will be coherent and nice to look at. That's part of my training that I've been putting myself, trying to do different views of the same object. I think it's important when you do concept art to be able to take one drawing but visualize it under different angles. And yeah, I need to build my portfolio on that. And for the record, I've been contacted by a really cool British studio that plans to make a feature in using Unreal Engine, and they're looking for a concept artist. I've had a couple of talks with them quickly. Hopefully in a few months I'll know if I make the cut. So cross your fingers for me, because I'm really excited about that. That'll be a really cool project to work on. And they're happy with me working only in traditional media. They love my style. It would apparently fit what they're going for. So, yeah, fingers crossed. But enough about me. Let's talk about, I said I work in traditional media, and I see everybody on Reddit doing digital only often, and often because they think it's the only way to work. And that's not necessarily the case. If your thing, is pen and ink, don't despair. Doing digital will always be an asset. I mean, it's a good thing to be able to do it, but don't necessarily give up on traditional media. There is still very much room for it, and if anything, these days it might help you stand out a bit from the crowd. So that's just my 2 cents about it. And I managed to work doing just that. I get away with it, and I think people would be surprised at how many of them could. So the digital, do it, but don't feel like you don't have a choice. It's not the only way, to get your drawings out there. Alright, we're throwing a bit of texture on this drawing now, just, big metallic panels. I'm trying to look at what I did on my previous drawings to make sure everything's in the right place. And, yeah, there you go. You know what? I'm going to shut up a second and see how this ASMR thing is going for you guys. Enjoy the noise. There you go, a couple of minutes of brush noise and pen noise. I wish I could draw that fast in real life. But this is my light orange, so everything's fine with this one. When I'm going to be moving to the dark one, there will be some struggles. Fortunately, I don't need a lot of it. I need it on the ceilings and a couple of other places. So, I should be alright. I hope there's enough left in it for that exterior view. No matter what, I'll have to make it work. So that'll be fun. Just bought myself a new set of Copic markers, but it's mostly grays and a few colors. So I might have to restock again on some flashier colors, or just go back to my monochrome-like style that I've been using in the past, which was mostly due to a limited choice in markers. But there you go. Orange everywhere, and then we're going to throw some bluish grays that I love so much from that cheaper brand, Style File. That's the one. I really like those, and I went for the even cheaper option because these don't have the brush nib. They just have a nib, a bullet nib, I think they're called, and that works fine for what I want to do with them. So I really do like this shade. So I'm starting to think about light, so I'm putting different values on different surfaces, figuring out later where exactly the light's going to fall. The light source is pretty simple on this one. You get a couple of neon lines on top of the picture, in the ceiling, on both sides. And I'm still debating on the right side if I'm going to do the padding on the door or the door itself in whatever color. I don't know at this stage, but we'll find something that works, that's for sure. There we go. I was looking for a substitute for my dark orange, but I just don't have it. So it looks fine now, but I assure you it's going to get very difficult in a moment. But anyway, less light on the ceiling, so darker tone. Then I'm going to do a hint of a gradient on the walls to try and show that the light hits the floor more than anything else. And then just throw in a couple of details left and right in the drawing, and that's the gist of it. Let's get a bit more of that marker sound now. You know what, I think that if I have just a few more coffees today, I might just be able to draw that fast. I'll give it a try. Here, I'll say a little more. Oh god, yes. So, anyway, yeah, putting some shadows here, so everything that's facing me away from the light will be that darker shade. The floor will be the brightest, the walls will be something in between. And after I'm done with this, we'll be throwing some cast shadows, which will be eyeballed as usual. But again, I think, hope, wish I get away with it. The one from the chair, I'll need to do a touch-up on my sketchbook. I've just noticed when it's in front of me, I need to stretch it a little bit. But it's not crazy bad, and I think it will serve the purpose for here. So yeah, just a lot of darker tones. Here we're putting in an even dark one with a cold gray 7. Down there, and so you know I've been using a 1 for the floor and the most lit surfaces, 3 on the walls, a 4 on the incline on the upper cabinets, and yeah, 7 and 9 for the cast shadows. That's how we're gonna do this, and just a couple of oranges for the ceiling and walls. What else have I been using? Some Copic Cool Gray 4 and 6 for these little indents within the walls of the structure. We'll get to that in a minute. So quite a few more markers than usual, but I think it works. I like the contrast with the blue and orange. I think it's funny. I wish I had some creamier colors. Then I might have put some of that as an outer shell or something. But right now this is what I've got, so this is what I work with. Doing the screens. I've been good. I've tried not to put too many screens on this drawing. There's only 2, which is, you know, not a lot for me. I want to put screens everywhere and more buttons, but I think this is okay. You'll let me know if you think it needs more screens. I didn't put a poster, but I did manage to put a little note on a wall at some point in this one, and there is a poster in one of the other rooms. Whoever sees it on my Instagram and figures out what it is will get my utter and absolute respect. Go take a peek. Alright, this is taking shape, just doing the cabinet here, and then there's not a lot left to do. I'm keeping that upper right white box here for the end, because I don't know what to do with it, and in the end I'm just gonna use some grays, and it's not gonna be flashy or original or anything, but I don't think it should get that much attention. It's good to notice this here, but I want people to spend time looking at it, so yeah, we'll go with some basic grays. Little gradient here on the door again, making sure things look alright. Need to get over some lines because the marker makes them disappear a little bit. I'm going quick and ugly on this again. It's not a point of focus on the picture, so it's not crazy important. Oh yeah, a warm gray 4 or 5 from Copic here to make the ceiling a bit more interesting and separate it a bit from the rest of the surfaces. Here we go, those cool grays I mentioned. Just hint of a gradient to show that it has depth. Here comes a blur again. There we go. And now struggling with my dark orange. Struggling a lot. I really hope I make it work for the exterior view. I gotta find a way, so maybe worst case I'll use my lighter one and add some warm brown, warm gray on top. Not quite sure. I guess I'll have to experiment and you know, hope for the best. Cast shadows here, roughly eyeballed. You don't need to be crazy accurate. This is not a technical drawing. This is just, you know, a concept. So as long as it shows the depth the way I want to, I'm happy with it. Those little shadows here make a big difference in the building. Just, you know, over the little edges you have left and right like this. This really helps the feeling of depth to come out of the drawing. I'll get back a couple of times in that because it's not deep enough as it is. This one I'm not super happy. But yeah, you know, eyeball it, start gingerly, carefully, don't do them too big, and then if you figure out they're too small, you can always extend them. If you go big all of a sudden, then you're going to be in trouble. Yeah, this one I need to stretch pretty much all the way to the corner here, the cast shadow for the chair, but well, that's how it is for now. Highlights with my beloved Carbotello, what is it, Stabilo pen. That's a really funny pen. It's like chalk, and you can you know, move it with your finger, dim it. It's something I'm learning to use, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. It works well as well when I want to do star clouds in a space background, like galaxy arms and that sort of thing. Works really well for that, combined with something starker and more opaque like a Posca pen. Yeah. There you go. I need to add something on top here, and I'm going to do something a bit different from the other modules I've done, just to break it up a bit. Rounding corners. And because I'm out of that orange, executive decision to use a dark red. Now, if I had a choice to go back on it, I would actually use some blue. Some gray blue like I've done for the rest of the base here, but this is what happened, and this is what I have to live with. Let's make some rust spots left and right, just, you know, blobs to be filled later with a couple of browns. This is a very light greenish brown, and then I'll be using a potato brown here to do some edges and give those a bit of depth as well. And then we're pretty much done. So there you go. I hope you've liked this video. If you did enjoy any bit of it, give it a like and a subscribe. I truly appreciate it. And I'll try to post as often as I can. But, you know, summer's coming, going away for a while. We'll see. But, yeah, thank you for dropping by. Thank you for your support. Have a bit of ASMR as we finish this. Cheers. Bye-bye.